Hello guys, how is everyone? I hope you're all doing wonderful and you're all staying safe. Today, we are going to be covering a game called RimWorld. I'm really excited to share this game with you guys because it is easily my top 10 favorite games of all time. In short, if I have to give you a very short summary of what the game is, it's like a science fiction base building survival management game. But if you want the whole long version of it, it is a game with so much depth, so much detail, and so incredibly much to do. It is so fun. I think I've racked up somewhere around 200 hours on it. But with that said, let's jump right in. Today we're going to be covering 20 different features that you can play in RimWorld. And these are only 20 of the highlighting features that I will mention. There's a lot more than this, but let's jump right in. One of the first features of the game is also one of the best features for both veteran players and first-time players. It is the scenario editor. You can use this feature right away when you're starting a new game in RimWorld. With the scenario editor, you can add in any resource, any item, any weapon, animals, pets, or research to start your new game with. You can even add in endgame weapons or endgame technology. If you're a new player to RimWorld, you can give yourself a stronger weapon or more resources to start building your colony right away. If you're a veteran player and you want to try out a new feature without having to play for hours to get to the same point, you can just use the scenario editor for tons of replay value. And right over here is where you can choose your AI storyteller. Your AI storyteller is basically the level of difficulty you want your gameplay to be, and also the frequency of special events to happen in your game. The second feature we're going to be highlighting is the ability to choose your beginning biome. You can choose whichever geographic location you want to settle in, and the map kind of looks like this when you're choosing where you want to settle. It looks like a big globe, and you can just click on any area to settle your colony there first. And this is only your beginning area. You can choose to move your people to a different kind of environment later on. This is where you can choose. Maybe you want to settle into a tundra where it's super cold, but you can meet cool polar bears, but it's also really hard to grow crops. Or you can choose to settle into a swampy area where there are tons of trees, so you have unlimited wood access, but there are dangerous animals everywhere. Different geographic locations also have different special features. Some of them may have caves, which means that you can find minerals and resources more easily to mine, or you can choose to settle on something known as the main road, which will allow NPCs to pass by your colony more often. The difference in biomes will greatly affect how your gameplay will be like. It will affect how often you can plant crops, or it'll affect how often you find wild animals, or it'll even affect how often you interact with NPCs. The next feature we're going to highlight is the character customization. I love this feature in any video game. The more options they give me, the more I'm guaranteed to like the game. In RimWorld, you can customize your traits, your relationships, your current health status, the name of your character, and even the childhood story. The trait system will allow you to build your team of perfect skilled workers. So say that you want someone to fill the role of being the chef of the house, you'll just have to set their cooking trait to the absolute highest. And say that you want someone to specialize in the mining, you'll just set their mining skills to the absolute maximum that you can, so that they'll be in charge of gathering all the resources and bringing them back to the house. And say you want someone to be in charge of the fighting portion, you'll set their shooting or their melee levels to the highest, so that when someone comes to raid you, you can beat your way out of it. But the trait system is not just all benefits. You don't just set all of your traits to be the maximum and that's it. Each character might have things that they're also incapable of doing. Like certain characters might be incapable of firefighting. So if a fire breaks out on your colony, they're not going to be running to save anyone. They might just let the whole place go on fire. Or some people might be incapable of social, so they can't talk to other people, they can't build relationships, and therefore they can't get any buffs from it. For the relationships aspect, you can allow your characters to be siblings, or you can allow them to be mother and son, or you can allow them to be husband and wife, or if you want to add a little juicy drama to your story, they can even be ex-lovers. Your characters' relationships with each other will affect their mood, and their mood will affect their work outcome. If say that they're in a really high mood because of a great relationship with different characters, then they can even get a buff to the overall speed and quality of their work. If say that they're in a very low mood, they can go crazy and just act completely out of your control where you cannot click on the character and make them do anything anymore. And one more feature that I really love about the trait system is how realistic the RimWorld developers tried to make it. They added in some more quirky or unlikable traits that are very realistic to real human behavior. Your characters can start with an addiction to drugs, which means that they can either be addicted to stimulants or they can be addicted to alcohol, and if they don't get it, then they go through a kind of withdrawal phase. Or your characters can be obsessed with the idea of getting an artificial implant or a surgery done on their natural bodies to enhance themselves, and if they don't, then they will also go through a period where they're very displeased and their mood is lowered. Or they can even have the trait of being misogynistic. Although those are not necessarily good traits, I do believe that it makes the game so much more realistic. And the fourth feature that we're going to discuss is the building and crafting elements of RimWorld. And that deserves a 20 out of 10. RimWorld is the best building and crafting simulation game I have ever played. If you're also into base building games like me, you'll know the joy of being able to design the layout of your base and design where each room is going to be, how many bedrooms there are, where the kitchen is. It's just so much fun. But RimWorld is so much more detailed than just designing the layout. The kind of material you use to design each room matters. Here I'm using a wooden wall for everything in the house. But wood is not the best defense in case you get raided by enemies. Your wooden walls will tear down much faster than if you were to build a gold wall. Also, the resources you use to build a refrigeration room is different than what you would use to build a bedroom. So for your refrigeration room, if you use wooden walls to build it, it doesn't insulate in the cold air enough, so you'll actually need to use steel or another metal wall instead to keep the cold air insulated inside to refrigerate all the food that you want to keep stored. The building part of RimWorld is so intricately designed that every little thing matters. The flooring you use matters, the size of the bedrooms or the size of any room matters, how dimly lit or brightly lit matters. Everything that you would think about when you're building a real home would most likely be affected when you're building something in RimWorld as well. The construction and crafting part of RimWorld is another favorite of mine. You can craft anything from a television to a hospital bed to an endgame item to building a defense tower or building traps for animals or people when they come and raid you. Or you can even build futuristic launch pads that will launch you all the way across the globe if you wanted to go there. Up to feature number 5. There is an in-game clock, so there is a day and night cycle. And there is also season changes, which will affect the temperature. In different temperatures, the types of things that you find in nature also changes. So in the wintertime, there might be a lot less wild items to forage, or the kinds of animals that you see will also change according to the season. The things that you can grow yourself, so say strawberries, potatoes, or hops for beer, that also depends on the season that it is. Besides agriculture, there are also other things that temperature changes can affect. When it gets too chilly, your colonists will need warm jackets and warm pants. When it's too hot, they will also need a change of clothes. So you need to gather different resources to make all the different clothing for your colonists. And other things that it might affect is there are solar panels or solar energy or wind energy. So on days where it's not sunny enough, your solar panels might not work, and on days where it's not windy enough, the wind turbines that generate electricity will also not be able to function. The sixth feature of RimWorld is the ability to do research. You can research new technology and upgrades. So there's a lot that you can build and construct in RimWorld. But before you can build it, you'll have to research it. Some of the things that you can research are how to use electricity in your base, how to do gunsmithing, air conditioning, getting brain implants, prosthetics, making autogun turrets, drug production, transport pods, hospital beds, and carpet making. The seventh feature will make you feel like a boss of your own company. You can assign a work schedule to your colonists. So say there is a colonist who's not so great with mining, and he's really amazing at cooking. You can take him completely off mining or put mining on a very low priority and put cooking on a higher priority, so he will go cook first before he mines. Or say you want only one person to be in charge of taking care of patients, then you can put that colonist on doctor duty and you can take everyone else off of it. The eighth feature to highlight are spontaneous events. Events can either be peaceful traders who come and they want to sell you resources, they want to sell you weapons, armor, or even slaves sometimes, or it can be a raid from a neighboring enemy. It can also be an angry animal who charges at you and you have to fend them off, or tons of other spontaneous events. In RimWorld, there are a lot of devices and equipment that you can build, but in order to use them, you need electricity. And in order to generate electricity, there are a couple of ways. You can either build solar panels, wind turbines, or you can use geothermal energy. To have electricity flow throughout your base, you can design your own layout on your base of how you want the electrical grid to look. Electricity will power things like air conditioning for your refrigerator, heaters for the winter, autogun turrets, or even doors that will open automatically so that your colonists don't have to pause in between opening a door. The 10th feature are raids. Raids can happen spontaneously. They can either be other colonists who came in to try to kill you, and you can either capture them or kill them. Or you can go and try to capture other people in their homeland. The 11th feature is the ability to hunt your food. You can hunt a wide variety of predators, things like big wolves or wild grizzly bears, to little animals like rabbits or raccoons. Alternatively, if you try your best to be a vegetarian in this game, it is also possible if you play in a biome that allows you to grow food throughout the year. You can also forage for wild food, things like berries or even wild healing roots. And that brings us into feature number 12. Number 12 is the ability to grow your own food, crops, hops for beer, flowers, and much more. There are a wide variety of things that you can grow, and it does alternate between the seasons what you can and can't grow. But all the stuff that you can grow, you can either turn them into food later on, some drugs, or even things to heal yourself when you get hurt. Now we have highlighted features number 13 to 20. You have the ability to get married in RimWorld. You can fight aliens or really strong galactic soldiers. You can relocate to a new colony when you get bored of the current one you're playing in. You can have character mood and needs and desires. Each single colonist will have things that they want and different kinds of moods. You can have grenades, guns, turrets, and weapons. You can also have melee combat if you so choose. You can have medical procedures, surgery, and you also have recovery times for when you get hurt. You can do quests, and you can send out caravans across the globe. And last but not least, RimWorld is a game with tons and tons of mods in the Steam Workshop. Not every single game has as many mods as RimWorld does, but the mods will really allow you to play like a sandbox that doesn't end, with no limit of features or with new technology that isn't in the original game. There's so many new mods to try. And with that said, that is 20 of the highlighted features in RimWorld. I personally do really love this game, and I do think it's the best simulation game I've ever played. Overall, I do have so many hours in the game, but I would be happy to add on even more when I have time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the like button so I know that you guys liked it. And if you'll like to follow me for more gaming videos, hit the subscribe button. I release new gaming videos 2 to 3 times a week. I will leave my social media content right over here, and if you want to follow me, please do. I'd love to be your friend. I will see you guys again soon, and I'm wishing you guys a great rest of your week.